Here are three big stories coming up in the next 15 minutes. It has been 2 years since a ransomware attack crippled the Baltimore County school system. Tonight, our Project Baltimore team investigates if the school system has put in place enough security measures.
Fox 45 News is getting answers a day after we reported Maryland's largest Christmas Day parade was in jeopardy. We have new information about a possible solution.
But first, an exclusive story you're seeing first on Fox tonight. Former Baltimore Mayor Sheila Dixon speaking out against City Hall. This after council members passed a bill to shorten how long they'll serve in order to receive lifetime pensions.
You are voting on increases for yourself, and it gives the wrong impression to the public.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Mary Bubala.
I'm Kai Jackson. Keith Daniels is live tonight with his exclusive interview with former Baltimore Mayor Sheila Dixon. Keith?
Well, Kai and Mary, we're taking a closer look at that pension plan that the City Council voted on this week. And tonight, former Mayor Sheila Dixon says when the council voted, they were not aware of a particular city charter at best, simply ignored it at worst.
The vote is 8 yeses, 5 noes, and 2 abstentions. This bill is approved.
With that, the new pension plan bill passed on Monday. Legislation approved that reduces the number of years city elected leaders must serve to earn lifetime benefits for what's classified as part-time work. But tonight,
My first thought was, well, why didn't this go to that commission?
former Baltimore Mayor Sheila Dixon suggesting that vote by the council should not have happened. The legislation not even proposed by any member of the council. Instead, the matter should have been handled by the city's Compensation Commission, not pushed and sponsored by City Council President Nick Mosby.
Somebody in finance and the retirement should have, when the bill was introduced, and I don't know whether or not this happened or not, should have shared with them that this commission is in place.
It was Dixon, when she was City Council President, who established legislation for the Compensation Commission, a panel that removes all salary and benefit proposals regarding elected officials from the hands of members of the City Council. The commission was established after 71% of Baltimore voters approved an amendment to the city charter in the 2006 election. Still, the City Council and Mosby fast-tracked the pension bill.
Mosby, he just seemed adamant on getting this passed. And so that raises some questions.
What's the main question it raises for you?
When I came onto the council many years ago, I never thought about the pension and the salary because our salary was very low. My whole thrust was, what can I do to improve Baltimore?
The approved bill will allow council members and other city elected officials to become eligible for full pensions after serving for 8 years, down from 12. Mosby, who sponsored the bill, claims the change is necessary after Baltimore City voters overwhelmingly passed Question K on Election Day, a measure which limits elected city leaders to 4-year terms in the same office over a 12-year period. Still, criticism of the council president's move by a former mayor.
I would think that since he was on the council years ago, that he would have been familiar with this commission that was created.
Well, we reached out to Council President Nick Mosby's office with questions that included, are you aware of the city's compensation committee? So far tonight, we have not heard back. We're live tonight. Keith Daniels, Fox 45 News.
Keith, thank you. Well, Fox 45 News continues to question city leaders on their decisions to change the pension rules.
Unfortunately, President Mosby chose not to table that bill. To me, it sends the wrong message when we are austere with other people's benefits, but generous with our own.
We have more coverage on the pension vote ahead at 10:30. Find out how city council members are defending their votes. Our question to you today is, should Mayor Scott veto the pension bill City Council passed for themselves? Go to foxbaltimore.com/vote to participate. So far, 97% of those who voted say yes. The poll is live right now. We'll check in at 10:30 for the latest results.
We just want justice. That's it. We just want justice. We don't care about the politics of it.
An emotional plea from the family of Timothy Reynolds. He's the Baltimore driver police say a squeegee kid shot and killed in July downtown. That 15-year-old has now been charged as an adult. Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost has been following this case. She has more on why the Reynolds family wants the original prosecutor back on the case.
Rita Wistoff-Ito has worked in the state's attorney's office for a decade. She was the prosecutor handling this case right up until the day before a juvenile transfer hearing was set to begin. Then Mosby's office pulled her from the case and took away all of the other homicide cases. Now the Reynolds family is begging Mosby's office to reinstate the prosecutor. The holiday season brings out fond memories.
And oil leaks everywhere.
But as the waves of grief continue to roll over the Reynolds family.
My brother was homicide victim number 186.
Timothy Reynolds killed at the intersection of Light and Conway, sparking outrage in Baltimore over the squeegee kid issue as the 14-year-old suspect arrested and charged for Reynolds' death. Now 15, the teen facing first-degree murder in adult court. But Becky Reynolds, Tim's sister, says getting to this point has been a battle with an unlikely opponent.
We just want justice, and we deserve justice, and we should not have to fight the prosecutor's office to do that.
After Rita Wistoff-Ito was pulled from the case and all the other homicide cases she was working on, reassigned, accused of leaking these photos and information, included in court filings showing the suspect captured on CCTV footage. Court filings allege the photos show the suspect getting a backpack with the gun police say was used to kill Reynolds and pulling a mask over his face before police say he pulled the trigger.
Whether he gets tried in adult court or juvenile or takes a plea, he's still going to get to hug his mother. He's going to get to become an engineer that the defense keeps saying that he wants to be so bad, if that's what he chooses to do. But my brother was a son. My brother was a husband. He was a father. He was an engineer. And he's never going to get to hug any of us ever again. And that's why we're doing this. That's why we're fighting so hard for him.
A petition gathering nearly 900 signatures calling on State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby to reinstate the veteran homicide prosecutor.
We may get justice, whatever justice looks like to us. We may get justice, and we hope that we do. We hope that Rita gets her job back, gets reinstated at where she belongs.
Historically, in this city, homicide prosecutors are respected and venerated by the state's attorney, not disrespected and shunned.
Through Vigneraj, the attorney representing the Reynolds family as the criminal case plays out, says not only is Mosby wrong for doing what she did, but Wistoff-Ito had the legal obligation to hand over the information. Vigneraj pointing to this Maryland statute that says the attorney for the victim or victim's representative get copies of all records and filings. Regardless, Mosby's office pulling Wistoff-Ito. And now as dueling news conferences continue with both sides.
It is not ideal to have a 15-year-old, someone who was actually 14 at the time of the offense, being housed and detained among men.
I was blindsided Friday when I spoke and I heard that the state, and it's Mosby, offering a plea deal.
Becky Reynolds says her brother's case isn't the only one Wistoff-Ito was working on, and all the families in Baltimore impacted by the city's crime crisis are on her mind during this fight.
We're not just fighting for victim number 186. We're fighting for every victim, and I pray that all those families of those victims, that they get the justice that we're seeking.
City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby refusing to answer questions about what happened with Rita Wistoff-Ito. In the meantime, this case has been postponed for another hearing on December 20th, giving the state's attorney's office more time to appoint a new prosecutor. In Baltimore, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
We have an update right now to a report Fox 45 News brought you last night.
That's right. It is about Maryland's largest Christmas parade at risk of being postponed. The mayor's Christmas parade is scheduled for December 4th. That's less than 2 weeks from today. But because of a current staffing shortage at the Baltimore Police Department, organizers say the fate of the parade nearing 50 years is in limbo.
Jeff Abel is live tonight with an update. Jeff?
Well, in the 49-year history of this parade, organizers say this has never happened. And tonight, even the governor is offering to help. For the 49th year, businesses have spent this day preparing for Maryland's largest parade. And for 49 years, the mayor's Christmas parade has marched through the community of Hamden on the first Sunday in December. But this week, City Hall called organizer Tom Kerr with a demand.
He said, well, you have to change the date of the parade. I said, no, we can't change the date of the parade.
On the same day of the parade, the Ravens are set to play at Ravens Stadium. And according to Tom Kerr, the city claimed it didn't have the resources to secure the parade and demanded to change the date of the parade.
We're trying to have something good for Baltimore, and it always is. And they were trying to knock us out of it.
People were coming from all over the tri-state area to have their bands, their floats, all the Star Wars people, all the Maroonies.
Lou Catelli actually filed for the parade's permit more than 6 months ago. The city issued the permit earlier this month, and according to Catelli, the city never indicated any problems.
I've been there at least once every other week, but sometimes once a week ever since May at that office. There's no any issue of any problem of anything at all.
While the city works to find resources to secure the parade, a spokesman for the governor tweeted today, the state stands ready to assist.
God bless him.
In Hamden, residents are ready to assist too.
Merry Christmas!
Vowing that the parade will go on time.
We're ready to line our bikes and tricycles up at every intersection to block off this streets so the parade can happen.
Well, organizers say the city is now vowing to make this parade happen on the original date, but so far they've yet to receive the final green light. We're live tonight. Jeff Abel, Fox 45 News.
And I plan on riding in that parade with Jasmine Lomax in a couple of weeks, so come on out and check it out. HT radar right now. You can see things are clean and clear up and down the 95 corridor. A nice evening, and that is some great news if you're going to be doing any travels out and about, and perhaps if you're going to be making the trip across the country or just to Grandma's house. I think we're going to be A-OK. Let's go ahead and take a look at the future scan here, and yeah, looks like overnight things are quiet, but we approach the next weather maker as we head not into Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving should be fine, but how about this? By Friday morning, look at that wetness moving in by about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to let you know how long we're going to be dealing with this rain and if it's going to give you problems for heading home from the Thanksgiving holiday in a couple of minutes.
Still ahead on Fox 45 News at 10 o'clock tonight. It's been 2 years since a ransomware attack crippled the Baltimore County school system. Project Baltimore looks into changes the school system has made since that time. An explosion rocks a South Baltimore neighborhood. One of the victims, a 70-year-old man who jumped in to help. Tonight, we've learned his identity. And sadly, a mass shooting breaks out inside of a Walmart in Virginia. We have a reporter on the scene who speaks with witnesses.
Fox 45 News, winner of 17 2022 Regional Emmy Awards, more than all other Baltimore news stations combined.
2 years ago today, Baltimore County Public Schools got hit with a massive ransomware attack, shutting down much of the school system.
Project Baltimore's Chris Papps looked into why school systems are prime targets for hackers and what makes them vulnerable to this happening again.
The timing could not have been worse. On November 24th, 2020, as every Baltimore County Public School student was learning virtually, a ransomware attack crippled the district.
We're going to continue to do what we need to do to support our students and staff.
For several days, America's 24th largest school system was shut down. The disruption to distance learning lasted weeks, while also impacting financial operations, including retiree benefits. To this day, the district has never publicly identified the attackers, their demands, or if the ransom was paid. We do know, as of November 2021, the hack cost the district nearly $10 million, but BCPS has not released an updated amount.
I wasn't surprised.
Computer science professor at Johns Hopkins University, Avi Rubin.
And I thought it was just a matter of time before we saw the school system get hit. And nowadays, everybody's getting hit.
Ransomware attackers look for two things when choosing a target, according to Rubin. First, a target with a lot of money. And second, a target that can easily be hacked and may pay the ransom to get back encrypted files and information. Rubin says school systems provide both opportunities.
If they are able to completely cripple and shut down a school system, such a large school system, then it's very likely that the school system would pay because they need to operate, they need to teach children.
The U.S. government has taken notice. In September, the FBI issued a warning that ransomware attacks on schools may increase as hackers see schools as particularly lucrative targets. Over this past Labor Day weekend, the second largest school system in America, the Los Angeles Unified School District, experienced a ransomware attack. District administrators said the hack caused a significant disruption. Back at home, Baltimore County Schools declined an interview with Project Baltimore to discuss the hack from 2 years ago. But in a statement, the district said it has implemented new technology and security processes, which include network safety training and new software with 24/7 monitoring, while mission-critical services have been moved to the cloud.
Everybody and everything is being targeted, and that's because the attackers have become quite sophisticated in the last 2 years.
And protection against those sophisticated attacks takes money. BCPS has about a $2 billion budget. In 2021, the district spent roughly $23 million on IT. The current 2023 budget spends the same amount. Despite the hack, the system does not seem to be investing more money into IT.
I think that it is a concern that they haven't increased their budget, given that there's more to do and the security risks are increasing.
Baltimore City Schools is actually spending less, from $21 million in 2021 to $16 million in the current budget. But Howard County has increased IT spending by $5 million over the last 2 years. Rubin says the amount of money being spent is just as important as how it is being spent. Is a school system focused on the right software? Does it have the right tools? Are their computers and systems updated and backed up? And are their employees educated on how to stop a hack before it happens?
In a school system such as the Baltimore County school system, you typically don't find the level of sophisticated security and IT that you would, say, in a bank or in a large corporation. So I think the key is training, awareness, and then getting the right system administrators in the right place and appreciating what the threats really are.
I'm Chris Papst, and this is Project Baltimore.
New tonight, one man and a young boy have been shot in Annapolis. Anne Arundel County Police say it happened tonight along Victor Parkway around 5. Medics found the boy on the scene, took him to the hospital. The man who was shot took himself to the hospital. Police haven't released their ages or their conditions. An investigation is underway. Baltimore County Police also revealing tonight a 24-year-old was shot and killed yesterday in Towson. The crime scene is on East Joppa Road near Loch Raven. Boulevard. The young man has been identified as Pavan Patel. Police haven't released any other details. It has been 24 hours since an explosion rocked a South Baltimore row home and some of the neighboring row homes.
That's right. In fact, 3 people were hurt in that explosion in Pigtown, but we still don't know what caused the home to explode. A 16-year-old girl and her 48-year-old mother were inside the home at the time of the blast. Investigators say a 70-year-old man jumped into action to help them. He was hurt after the building collapsed. Tonight, we've learned his name is Terry Bagley Sr., a Marine veteran.
I would say he's a hero because he didn't have to go in and save nobody, but he chose to step in and save somebody, help somebody. You don't find too many people like that in the world today.
Governor Hogan put out a tweet this afternoon saying, quote, "We are all pulling for this hero. At last check, Bagley is still listed under critical condition. The mother and daughter have been upgraded to stable condition. The cause of the explosion is under investigation." Bagley's family started a GoFundMe page to help cover several surgery expenses. His son says he's always willing to put his life on the line for others. So far, more than $8,000 has been raised to help him.
Well, 6 dead in a mass shooting at a Virginia Walmart overnight. What we're learning about the suspect tonight. A series of businesses consider moving out of Baltimore amid safety concerns, why residents nearby may be hurting the most.
And here we go into a long holiday weekend. If you've got travel maybe planned tonight to try to get out ahead of some of that traffic overnight into early tomorrow morning, looks good. Although cold, it should be nice and dry. And taking a look into the Thanksgiving holiday, should be dry around here. But look at that rain that develops and heads toward us on Friday for Black Friday sales. I'm going to let you know how it looks locally hour by hour on the Future Scan and when it could come back over the weekend. My Weather Authority forecast.
Well, tonight, another Virginia community in shock after yet another mass shooting, this time inside a Walmart in Chesapeake, which is just south of Norfolk. A memorial is growing outside the store for the 6 people killed. And we're learning more about the accused gunman, a manager at that store.
The police claim he opened fire in a break room before taking his own life. Tom Rousey is in Chesapeake speaking with residents.
From talking to folks in the community here, I can tell you this is a very popular Walmart, and this has just left so many people stunned. Over my shoulder this way, you can see a lot of fire trucks, also police in the distance. And if you look over there, you'll see what's been a growing memorial throughout the day, as some folks who didn't even know the victims wanted to pay their respects. Others, though, did know them, and they're devastated. Did you hear the shots?
Yes. Multiple shots were fired.
Elsie Delgado says she was inside the Walmart with her 8-year-old daughter Tuesday night.
When he started firing, I kind of ducked down with my daughter.
She frantically searched for the safest way out.
I took my daughter and ran out as the guy was still shooting.
Chesapeake police say 31-year-old Andre Bing, who Walmart says had worked at the store for 12 years, opened fire a little after 10 p.m. Tuesday night, killing 6 people and injuring 6 others who went to the hospital.
And the suspect is dead from what we believe was a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
A witness says Bing was a manager and initially opened fire on co-workers as a meeting began in the break room. Deborah Hazlett's brother was hit.
What was really strange to us is that he clocks in at 10, so he hadn't even been there 10 minutes. He actually was shot in his side. He is up talking, breathing.
Pedro Lezaman Jimenez says his stepdaughter was friends with one of the Walmart employees who died.
Una persona, pues, simpática.
She was a very nice person, very happy and very hardworking. Folks who live nearby say this Walmart is very popular.
I'm right across the street. I come here every other day.
And this is hitting people hard.
This is just devastating for me.
And we do ask that you pray with us for everyone impacted by this tragedy.
The shooting happened around 10:12 p.m. last night here at the Walmart. The store closes at 11, so it wasn't going to be open that much longer. Of course, the employees were gearing up for what was expected to be a very busy week with Black Friday here. But now the police chief here in Chesapeake, Virginia, says this area is likely to remain a crime scene for several days. Reporting in Chesapeake, I'm Tom Rousey for Fox 45 News.
One community leader believes that teens are behind a recent rash of vandalism and thefts, why she fears it could force the only businesses they have left out.
That will come back to haunt us if we don't do something about it.
Dr. Ben Carson says Baltimore schools are facing an uphill battle. His proposal to help turn the corner.
And Baltimore City Council approves reduced pension requirements, backing up their decision today. Why not all members seem to be on board. Well, new at 10:30, one community leader is fed up with the constant crime in her neighborhood.
Vandals and thieves have been taking aim at area businesses, and she says she doesn't see enough being done to stop it.
Well, now there is fear those businesses could be forced to leave. Fox 45's Riel Creighton is live tonight with this community's concern. Riel?
Hey, Kaya and Mary, this is a community leader who says there have been break-ins and vandalism happening at the nearby businesses in their community for going on 2 years now. She says this is both a shopping and a food desert, and now they fear that all of that could make them lose their access.
They wait exactly until they close, and then a mob of kids will run in there, snatch and grab. It's nothing they could do.
For Paulette Carroll, it's the fear crime could make their struggle even greater.
It's very hard. Seniors that need this bank need Walgreens to pick up their medication.
Carroll is president of the Town at the Terraces public housing community, where she says their neighboring businesses have been under assault.
A lot of vandalism going on in the community, breaking in the doors, going in there, mob stealing, setting fire where a debit card is at.
The nearby credit union and Walgreens, other stores, and she says at least 20 recent incidents of vandalism and theft.
They already told us that they might be moving because of the vandalism.
And now the threat, many could pull out because of it. In a community where there are very few options and where the nearest grocery store is about a mile away, it's a very big hike, she says, for many here.
We live in a desert. We really don't have no supermarket. Price right about the call.
Carol wants to see more patrols in the area, more protection for stores as they watch the worst unfold, the crime they want out, instead pushing out the businesses they rely on.
This community haven't been touched within 45 years. Without this store and Walgreens, we won't have nothing. And it seems no one cares.
Well, Carol says that she has reported the incidents repeatedly to police. She's also even reported them to her council person, and yet she says still it continues. Reporting live in Baltimore tonight, Riel Creighton, Fox 45 News.
Riel, thank you. Trash, crowds, and crime. The owner of a longtime restaurant in Fells Point says he was denied a permit to sell food after midnight due to issues he says are beyond his control. Alexa Ashwell questioned the city and has the story behind the owner's decision to sell his pizzeria.
For decades, Brick Oven Pizza has been a late-night staple here in Fells Point. Its location at the corner of South Broadway and Lancaster Streets, just feet from the popular Broadway Square, was one of the main reasons Zion Grayville,
all right, Emma,
says he decided to purchase the restaurant last year.
I think we have great pizza, unique with brick oven.
But Grayville's dreams of a thriving business in the heart of Fells Point came to a halt when he says the city denied his permit to sell food after midnight, a process he had to go through as the new owner.
Our business is at nighttime. Everyone wants to eat pizza after they drink, and at nighttime is...
The city's reason? Grayville says it included pushback from the community due to concerns about trash and crime.
They talk about crime.
Two issues the city has struggled to control here in Fells Point over the past couple of years. The violence and chaos at one point even leading to dozens of businesses threatening to withhold tax revenue.
They say is maybe it's people eat and then it's trash and stuff, but well, we try to talk to Baltimore City to have a bigger trash can here beside the pizzeria. They say no. So we're trying pretty much everything we can to satisfy everyone and compromise this solution.
Grayville says he appealed the decision, showing Fox 45 News a copy of a letter he says he received from the Department of Finance, once again denying his request.
70% was the sale was after midnight, and then they took it away.
Fox 45 News questioned the city, including the mayor's office and Councilman Zeke Cohen, who represents Fells Point, asking, how does the city justify denying a permit to a small business owner due at least in part to its inability to control crime? And how does the city justify allowing neighboring businesses to continue selling alcohol past midnight, but not allowing a pizza shop to sell food past midnight? Cohen responding in part, although our office does not determine whether a business is able to obtain a permit, That happens within the administration. We will continue to facilitate conversation and then follow the lead of our partners in law enforcement and community. As for Grayville, the owner at a loss, saying he's been left with no other choice than to sell the business. Alexa Ashwell.
You're taking away now food for my kids. You're taking away food for my family. Because I'm, as a young guy from Israel, have a dream to open my first restaurant.
Fox 45 News.
Now, in addition to those questions, Alexa posed, Fox 45 News also asked the mayor's office to confirm the city's reasoning for denying the permit. So far, we have not received a response.
Well, right now, we are awaiting a major decision from Mayor Brandon Scott about changes to the city's council pensions. On Monday, a pension bill backed by City Council President Nick Mosby passed 8-5. That bill shortens how long city council members need to serve in order to receive lifetime pensions. Mackenzie Frost demanding answers from the council.
Some of the members who voted against this plan say supporting it appears to be self-serving. But the big question we're trying to get answered, will these opposition members lobby Mayor Brandon Scott to veto it?
I took my vote.
Frustration over lifetime benefits for part-time work.
I heard you vote yes.
Some Baltimoreans letting the council members know who voted to support Council President Nick Mosby's pension plan their feelings. These 5 council members, Odette Ramos, Ryan Dorsey, Zeke Cohen, Felicia Porter, and James Torrance, voting Mosby's bill down. His plan changes the requirements from going from 12 years to qualify for a pension to 8. While first responders have to wait 25 years to qualify after a decades-long legal battle changing the requirements from 20 years. Councilman Mark Conway and Eric Costello abstaining from voting.
To me, it sends the wrong message when we are austere with other people's benefits, but generous with our own.
Councilman Cohen speaking with Fox 45 News Tuesday, noting his disappointment in Mosby's reaction to an amendment introduced by Ramos and Mosby's opposition to heed Cohen's call to pause the vote on the bill while the city's finances were studied.
Unfortunately, President Mosby chose not to table that bill.
Wednesday, Fox 45 News sending members who voted no on the bill a few questions, asking, do you plan to lobby Mayor Scott to veto the legislation? Do you believe the council members who voted to support the plan send the wrong message to the city and appear tone deaf? If this plan is approved, will you vow not to take any or a portion of the pension? We sent the members who abstained from voting the same questions, all the council members refusing to answer. But Cohen telling Fox 45 News Tuesday if Mayor Scott does veto the plan, it doesn't appear Mosby has the votes to override it.
This is an opportunity for Mayor Scott to really show leadership.
The opposition to the plan stretches beyond the walls of City Hall.
I'm grateful for those who opposed and abstained from this selfish legislation.
Pastor P.M. Smith, a longtime city resident, says Mosby's motivations for pushing the bill could be linked to his wife, City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby's own legal trouble.
I'm grieving for the young man who sponsored it. Financially, he's irresponsible. He's about to lose the breadwinner and his family. I grieve for him.
Even Governor Larry Hogan telling us Tuesday the plan sends the wrong message to the city.
I think the voters were very clear that they supported term limits. They're not pleased in general with their elected leaders. I would say some people would probably argue that they deserve, pink slips instead of pay raises.
Especially as Baltimore marks the 8th year in a row with more than 300 homicides. And meanwhile, the council moving forward with a plan to give themselves a lifetime pension earlier than ever. This entire plan hinges on Mayor Brandon Scott and what he does with it. Right now, the mayor's office tells me no decision has been made. In Baltimore, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
When it comes to the pension bill, Fox 45 News asked you, will you change who you vote for in 2024 based on the council's action? 96% of the more than 200 voters said yes. Our question to you today is, should Mayor Scott veto the pension bill City Council passed for themselves right now? 98% of those who voted are saying yes. Go to foxbaltimore.com/vote to participate.
In an effort to highlight the impact of Baltimore's failing school system, the message from civil rights attorney Ben Crump and Dr. Ben Carson bringing attention to a crisis in the classroom.
And ahead on the late edition, a former Baltimore mayor calls out the city council's pension plan, why she thinks they're overstepping authority.
And if you're taking to the skies this evening, a couple of scattered delays around Dallas, perhaps down into Florida. Here in Baltimore, we're on time. I'm going to let you know how things look for Thanksgiving tomorrow in my Weather Authority forecast.
Well, Fox 45 News wants you to send in your holiday photos. Take a look at this. On the left of your screen is Lily. Her owner, Allie, sent this in from Perry Hall. She says Lily loves to nap under the Christmas tree. So cute. And on your right is Charlie in the Christmas wreath. Oh, I see him there. His owner, Sherry, sent in an adorable picture. Very cute. It is easy to send in your holiday photos. Head to foxbaltimore.com/chime-in. You can also send them through a chime-in page in the Fox 45 mobile app. Well, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is optimistic about air travel this holiday season. He is cautiously optimistic passengers can anticipate a smoother experience this holiday season, even with the TSA expecting more than 2.5 million passengers to pass through U.S. airports on the busiest days.
I was just looking over the numbers for this Thanksgiving travel. You look at yesterday, which I think is the busiest day we've seen so far for this holiday. Cancellation rates were less than 0.5%. And that's a rate, you know, they'll never be zero just with some weather and mechanical issues that come up. If it stays in that range, that's definitely a rate that the system can handle.
Buttigieg warns we're not out of the woods yet. He says airports are still dealing with a tight labor situation and will need to hire more pilots, mechanics, ground crew, and more. Well, if you have holiday travel plans, Fox 45 News has you covered on how the weather is shaping up. You're looking at live conditions in Towson and Baltimore. It is warming up as we head into the Thanksgiving holiday, but our next weather maker, it arrives on Black Friday. Chief Meteorologist Jonathan Myers here with the latest word on the forecast. A good place to be on that Friday then is in stores, undercover.
Right. Yeah, in the mall, right?
Right.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. Well, we figured everything out, but getting there could be a little bit of an issue Black Friday morning. For now, HD radar showing us some snow showers up towards the Canadian Maritime provinces, but all up and down the 95 corridor, primarily dry. So this is looking good if you want to maybe beat some of the traffic as you're going to Grandma's house tomorrow to get some of that turkey. And then out to the west, things do change a little bit. There's some rain all the way from Dallas up to St. Louis, and then there's some snow out around Denver. So, yeah, as you get towards the Mississippi River westbound, if you have travels that way, things start getting a little dicier. Right now, it's 41 degrees, calm winds, humidity at 55%, a little bit of a chill in the air, but beautiful after highs at 63 this afternoon. The Toyota East Inner Harbor Skycam, nice and calm and quiet. 39 now at Westminster, 37 at Bel Air. We're at 33 at Elkton, 41 here in Baltimore, and 35 at Laurel. Last night got into the 20s. Tonight, probably into the low 30s, as we're already well on our way as we head through the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. But really, I mean, we are blessed with the travel weather and the travel situation in terms of our weather pattern as we head into tomorrow. Very nice, clear skies. Temperatures chilly to start, but as we head into the afternoon on Thanksgiving, sunshine, temperatures right about 55 to 60. Next weather maker gearing up again over the Intermountain West. There is some rain ahead of that. Even a rain-snow mix that's diving its way down into portions of Texas, which we have winter storm watches out for later Thursday into Friday. That's going to pair up with some Gulf moisture, even potentially some strong storms around New Orleans, and then some rain right around Atlanta on Friday. Now, notice this kind of split and some showers to our north and some rain to our south with some at least moderate impact on Friday. Here in Baltimore, we're still in the green, so it's really little impact because, you know, this system's actually going to kind of split and move its way to our north and south. So there will be some showers, but they should be primarily light. Then Saturday, we keep tabs on the rest of that system down to our south and west. That could become our next weather maker for Sunday with an additional risk of some rain. So that's something we're tracking for the end of the weekend heading home. So this kind of comes in a couple of pieces. So future scan overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. Just a couple of patchy clouds falling down into the 30s. I think for tomorrow afternoon, the clouds overdone here a bit. We'll be into the mid to upper 50s with some sunshine. And then on Friday, starting the day dry, at least through about, say, midnight to about 5 a.m. if you're going for the doorbuster sales. But about 6 to 7 a.m., some rain through about 9 a.m. By about midday, that does pull east. So things should be drying out for the second portion of the day. Now for tonight, 31, clear skies. Tomorrow, 58, continued sunny, beautiful for Thanksgiving. Going to be doing a little jog or a run or a walk before or after having all those calories from the turkey. Should be nice. 54, some morning showers on Friday. Good looking in the afternoon. Nice on Saturday. Some on and off rain Sunday. And then it gradually dries out into early next week.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Well, Dr. Ben Carson is sounding the alarm about the U.S. education system in a new book. The former HUD secretary co-wrote Crisis in the Classroom with attorney Ben Crump and Sinclair political commentator Armstrong Williams. In it, the three break down how poor educational outcomes can impact communities and future generations. Dr. Carson emphasizes cracks in the U.S. education system can have international implications.
We will not be able to do that with a workforce that is not up to par. And when you look at many of the international studies on academic achievement, we seem to always rank near the bottom in terms of developed nations, particularly in the STEM areas. That will come back to haunt us if we don't do something about it.
Dr. Carson applauds parents who are getting involved in their children's education by asking questions about what's being taught and accomplished in the classroom. He says that oversight helps to make sure standards are upheld. We want to note Sinclair Broadcast Group is the parent company of FOX45.
It was just absolutely one of the most terrifying moments of my life.
New tonight on the late edition, shocking video shows a woman riding on the hood of a car as it speeds onto a main road. Her explanation for why she was in that position. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade steps off in about 10 hours. The new floats we can expect to see at this year's event. As the Ravens get back to work, Lamar Jackson not at Wednesday's practice. An update on his status ahead of Sunday's game against the Jags.
Lamar Jackson has shown up on the Ravens injury report for the second straight week. He didn't practice last Friday due to an illness, but ended up playing in the game. This week, he's dealing with a hip issue, and it's not the first time, but QB1 should be good to go on Sunday.
Yeah, it was a day. We had an issue from the game. You know, he's going to play in the game, but I just wanted to hold him back and let him rest today.
So Lamar not on the field today, but Marcus Williams was on the field. The Ravens safety was designated for return from injured reserve and practiced with the team for the first time since dislocating his wrist. He'll be easing his way back onto the field and will not play this Sunday against the Jags. Here's a look at the Ravens injury report. Lamar Jackson, one of 8 Ravens that did not practice. Jalen Armour-Davis, Kyle Hamilton, Ronnie Stanley, and Kevin Zeitler all absent as well. Rest days for Justin Houston, Marcus Peters, Calais Campbell. Gus Edwards was limited with that knee and hamstring injury. The undefeated streak continues. Towson men's basketball now 5-0 in Division I for the first time in program history. Despite the record, Pat Scarry still sees room for improvement.
If you don't keep getting better, you're not going to have the opportunities you want later in the year. I think our guys understand that. You know, what we're going to do this weekend is hopefully going to give us a chance to have an experience that we want to have come March. So, you know, we're on to enjoy this tonight, then on to the next one.
Coming up tonight, the former mayor of Saxonville makes his return on Sunday to face his old team. What Calais Campbell is saying ahead of the showdown with the Jags.
Rocco, thanks. Ahead on the late edition, the mayor's Christmas parade at risk of being postponed. How a late push from the state level may keep the festivities on schedule. But first, tomorrow is the big feast. How you can control your eating habits all day to make sure you don't overdo it. Well, most of us do it, right? Overeat on Thanksgiving Day. The average American consumes 3,000 calories in just one meal, even before that slice of pumpkin pie. Medical reporter Barbara Morris brings us 3 tips that can help us avoid racking up all the calories.
Who can resist delicious turkey and all the other sides which come with it?
In full disclosure, gastroenterologist Dr. Kadir Bhutta admits
it's hard to resist. I can tell you personally, I'm always munching and this and that.
So he suggests we start with breakfast. Don't skip it.
If you pace yourself throughout the whole day, little bit of snacks, light breakfast.
That way you're not absolutely starving by the time the big meal comes around.
Because we eat so quickly, you know, the hunger centers don't register.
Eat slowly. Chat with your loved ones, perhaps about everything you're thankful for.
If we take our time, eat slowly, that would, help us avoiding overeating.
But if the inevitable happens and you feel as stuffed as your turkey,
walking with our loved ones is always a good idea. A quick brisk walk for 20-30 minutes will help digestion a lot faster. It will also propel the gases further down because the gravity kicks in.
The one-time gravity serves us. And since Thanksgiving often kicks off the holiday season eating frenzy, remember,
a little bit of moderation in eating, walking can do wonders.
On average, we gain up to 5 pounds over the holidays. You can keep yourself honest by checking in with your scale and take notice when your clothes fit a little bit tight. I'm medical reporter Barbara Morse.
A former mayor goes in on Baltimore City Council's pension plan, why Sheila Dixon says that vote should have never happened.
He chose to step in and save somebody, help somebody. You don't find too many people like that in the world today.
A life-saving act brings Pigtown together in the aftermath of a devastating explosion. A community now rallies around a family calling for help. And stunning video shows suspected thieves driving off with a woman on the hood of a car. How she was able to save herself and the charges now facing the driver.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News Late Edition.
Most, he just seemed adamant on getting this passed. And so that raises some questions.
City Council members about their pension strategy in an exclusive interview with Fox 45 News. Good evening, I'm Kai Jackson. More on Ms. Dixon's remarks in just a moment, but we begin with an update on that massive explosion that rocked Pigtown Tuesday afternoon. 3 people were hurt in the blast, 2 people inside the home when it collapsed, and a man went back in to rescue them. That man, 70-year-old Terry Bagley Jr., is a veteran of the Marine Corps.
I would say he's a hero because he didn't have to go in and save nobody, but he chose to step in and save somebody, help somebody. You don't find too many people like that in the world today.
BGE addressed the explosion this afternoon, saying it's continuing to investigate gas operations around the area. A cause of the explosion has not been determined. Well, Bagley's family has started a GoFundMe page to help cover several surgery expenses. You can see Bagley in his bed right now, fighting for his life. His son says he's always willing to put his life on the line for others. So far, that fund has raised nearly $9,000. In a story you'll see first on Fox, former Baltimore Mayor Sheila Dixon is calling out City Hall after council members passed a bill to shorten their pension requirements. Keith Daniels has the exclusive interview.
Well, we're taking a closer look at the City Council's vote on the pension plan this week. And tonight, according to former Mayor Sheila Dixon, when the council voted, they were not aware of a particular city charter at best, simply ignored it at worst.
And the vote is 8 yeses, 5 noes, and 2 abstentions. This bill is approved.
With that, the new pension plan bill passed on Monday. Legislation approved that reduces the number of years city elected leaders must serve to earn lifetime benefits for what's classified as part-time work. But tonight,
my first thought was, well, why didn't this go to that commission?
Former Baltimore Mayor Sheila Dixon suggesting that vote by the council should not have happened. The legislation not even proposed by any member of the council. Instead, the matter should have been handled by the city's Compensation Commission, not pushed and sponsored by City Council President Nick Mosby.
Somebody in finance and the retirement should have, when the bill was introduced, and I don't know whether or not this happened or not, should have shared with them that this commission is in place.
It was Dixon, when she was City Council President, who established legislation for the Compensation Commission, a panel that removes all salary and benefit proposals regarding elected officials from the hands of members of the City Council. The commission was established after 71% of Baltimore voters approved an amendment to the city charter in the 2006 election. Still, the City Council and Mosby fast-tracked the pension bill.
Mosby, he just seemed adamant on getting this passed. And so that raises some questions.
What's the main question it raises for you?
When I came onto the council many years ago, I never thought about the pension and the salary because our salary was very low. My whole thrust was, what can I do to improve Baltimore?
Are you saying that you're suggesting maybe he's a bit more self-serving? He did this for self-serving purposes?
I believe that this bill, based on doing it 8 years, is very self-serving.
The approved bill will allow council members and other city elected officials to become eligible for full pensions after serving for 8 years, down from 12. Mosby, who sponsored the bill, claims the change is necessary after Baltimore City voters overwhelmingly passed Question K on Election Day, a measure which limits elected city leaders to 4-year terms in the same office over a 12-year period. Still, criticism of the council president's move by a former mayor.
I would think that since he was on the council years ago, that he would have been familiar with this commission that was created.
Well, we reached out to City Council President Nick Mosby's office. We sent an email that included the question, are you aware of the city's compensation committee? So far tonight, we have not heard back. Reporting tonight, Keith Daniels, Fox 45 News.
Well, one man and a boy are hurt after a shooting in Annapolis tonight. Police say it happened along Victor Parkway. Medics took the boy to a local hospital while the man was able to walk in on his own. No word yet on any suspects. Detectives are still investigating, and we'll bring you more information as it comes into our newsroom. Kai?
Mary, thank you. We have an update right now to a story that we brought you last night. Governor Larry Hogan's office is offering to help in an effort to keep the mayor's Christmas parade at its current date in Baltimore. The Ravens are set to host the Broncos on the day of the parade, and the city says they won't have enough resources to secure the parade. It's the first time the city has even indicated any scheduling problems less than 2 weeks before the parade is set to happen.
I've been there at least once every other week, but sometimes once a week ever since May at that office. There's no any issue, any problem of anything at all. People are coming from all over the tri-state area to have their bands, their floats, all the Star Wars people, all the Maroonies.
While the city works to find resources to secure the parade, a spokesperson for the governor tweeted today the state stands ready to assist.
All right, getting warmed up for that turkey. It looks like things are going to be nice and dry around here if you're going to be heading out to Grandma's house for tomorrow. Now, Friday, notice a weather maker comes through with some rain. We're going to be tracking that close up on the future scan in a couple of minutes, but I did want to let you know if you're planning on heading out tonight, things are pretty good looking, except there are a couple of spots that do have delays, like Newark, seeing some delays, and Dallas as well. Orlando, you've got a couple of delays in some of the hubs there. Here in Baltimore, we are leaving on time this evening, so that's some good news. I'm going to let you know when we potentially could be seeing some more delays in the air and on the roads with a more major rainmaker. That's coming up in my Weather Authority forecast in a couple of minutes.
Still ahead, a renewed push for justice from the family of Timothy Reynolds. What they're asking for as a 15-year-old suspect awaits a trial. And a ban on serving after midnight, serving food anyway, forces a Fells Point pizzeria to close. My Councilman Zeke Cohen says the city is contradicting itself.
We just want justice, that's it. We just want justice. We don't care about the politics of it.
An emotional plea tonight from the family of Timothy Reynolds as a 15-year-old squeegee kid faces murder charges following a confrontation near the Inner Harbor this summer. The Reynolds family is pushing to bring the original prosecutor back on the case. She was pulled off the case the day before last week's juvenile hearing, being accused of sharing evidence with the victim's family.
We deserve justice, and we should not have to fight the prosecutor's office to do that. We're not just fighting for victim number 186. We're fighting for every victim, and I pray that all those families of those victims, that they get the justice that we're seeking.
City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby has not answered our questions for comment about the prosecutor's dismissal. The case is delayed until December 20th, so a new prosecutor can be assigned. Brick Oven Pizza, an institution in Fells Point, is shutting down after the owner says he was denied a permit to sell food after midnight. The city says that decision is based on concerns about trash and crime.
Our business is at nighttime. Everyone wants to eat pizza after they drink, and at nighttime. They say people eat and then it's trash and stuff, but we try to talk to Baltimore City to have a bigger trash can here beside the pizzeria. They say no. So we try pretty much everything we can to satisfy everyone and compromise this solution.
Well, the owner is appealing the decision. City Councilman Zeke Cohen represents Fells Point. He's asking why a pizza shop can't sell food past midnight, but bars can remain open.
If you're going to be doing some travels into your Thanksgiving, looks like fantastic weather, a good deal of sunshine and clear skies with temperatures rising into the 50s after a chilly start. Heading out to grandma's or any relatives' houses to get some Thanksgiving turkey. I'm going to let you know, though, if it's going to be a little wetter as we head into Black Friday and perhaps also when you're heading home from the holidays. I'm going to plan it all out on the Future Scan coming up in my Weather Authority forecast.
We're learning more about a mass shooting last night at a Virginia Walmart that claimed the lives of 6 people. The suspect was an employee. Police say he opened fire on coworkers during a meeting, then turned the gun on himself. Shoppers inside the store described the chaos.
When he started firing, I kind of ducked down with my daughter. I took my daughter and ran out as the guy was still shooting.
Well, according to reports, the suspect who worked at that Walmart was there more than 12 years. New details in the stabbing that left 4 students dead at the University of Idaho. Chris Mitchell from our Sinclair sister station in Idaho has comments from police and the community.
This is our highest priority. It will remain our highest priority. We owe that to the families.
Moscow Police Captain Roger Lanier recapped what they know at this point. The 4 University of Idaho students were found on Sunday, November 13th, all stabbed multiple times, likely in their sleep. The weapon which has not been found is a fixed-blade knife. Detectives maintain that this was a targeted attack, but Captain Lanier explained why they will not say who was the target.
We don't want to put our investigation in jeopardy by releasing what we have. There's always a balance between what you're willing to release versus what you're trying to gather. You're going to have to trust us on that at this point.
So far, investigators have collected 103 pieces of evidence, roughly 4,000 pictures taken, and completed multiple 3D scans of the crime scene. Also, technicians and investigators already putting in hundreds of hours of work, including forensics teams. Moscow is also on Idaho Governor Brad Little's mind, making available $1 million for resources.
Like all Idahoans, Governor Little is deeply saddened by the loss of these 4 bright and promising young lives.
During this investigation, detectives learned that Kaylee Gonsalves may have had a stalker. They've explored about 100 leads.
Detectives have been looking into that, and to this point have been unable to corroborate the statement, although we continue to seek information and tips regarding that report.
It's been 11 days since the horrific murders, still shaking the Moscow community to its core.
Moscow's my home. And I know we won't be defined by tragedy, but how we respond to it. We mourn the loss of these beautiful young people, and we will relentlessly pursue justice on their behalf.
And here's a look at tomorrow's headlines. Right now, you'll notice a theme, so roll with me here, folks. The Baltimore Turkey Trot begins at 8:30 bright in the a.m. Governor-elect Wes Moore will be running. It starts at the Weinberg YMCA on 33rd Street in Baltimore. Be there. Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses are holding their annual Turkey Shoot. Get here, you with me here? And the Turkey Bowl pits Loyola Blakefield against Calvert Hall. That's a good matchup. Kickoff is at 10 a.m. on Towson's campus. So you've got your 3 turkey-involved stories there. Gobble, gobble, baby. Right, Jonathan?
Yeah, and then, you know, after you do all that activity, you sit down and you eat all of that turkey, right? Let's go and take a look at the HD radar. If you're driving to get your turkey up and down the 95 corridor this evening, it is quiet all the way really down pretty much to Florida. Until you get west of the Mississippi River, west of Memphis, there's some rain, and then there's also rain-snow mix from Billings, Montana, down to about Denver. So here, getaways should be just fine in Maryland. 37 degrees, clear skies on the Mile 1 Towson Cam, winds out of the west at 3 miles an hour. Humidity 67%, a little bit of a breeze giving us those wind chills down into the mid-30s. Temperatures generally in the 30s to right around 40. You'll wake up to temperatures near freezing tomorrow morning, so we're kind of edging those low temperatures up. Also today, we made it up to 63. May not be quite as warm for tomorrow, but still a really nice Thanksgiving shaping up. Temperatures all across the board in the 30s and the 40s this evening. So that goes really with a very tranquil weather pattern. We cannot complain too much. It could be easily snowing to beat the band this time of year. And overall, a mild pattern, although it's going to be cool when you wake up. Another day for tomorrow spent in the mid to upper 50s. And look at this, really, again, the entire East Coast is quiet until you hit this next weather maker that's right around Denver, Colorado. It's got some snow with it, pumping up some moisture ahead of it all across portions of Texas into the Ozarks. For around here, once again, you're going to have all green lights on the travel for tomorrow. But as you kind of widen things out, Once you get well west into the Mississippi Valley and into the foothills of the Rockies, some rain snow mix. In fact, we've got some winter storm watches in portions of West Texas with this next storm system, and some thunderstorms possible, maybe some strong ones as we head Thursday into Friday across portions of the Deep South as well as New Orleans, portions of Mississippi, and into Alabama. If you're headed out that way, well, that's going to be our next weather maker, or at least a kind of portion of it, if you will. Part number one is kind of leading it with some showers up into Maine and some more rain that's down around Atlanta, Georgia. We're stuck in the middle, although we will see some showers, I think, for portions, especially the first half of Black Friday. It shouldn't be very heavy, and you see here we're still in the green in terms of any travel effects. That yellow, though, starting to edge closer toward us on Saturday. Saturday should be an okay day, but I think Sunday that rain will finally get here a little more in earnest with kind of part two of this system. So future scan overnight, nice and quiet into early tomorrow morning. The turkey trot should be just fine. You'll probably need a jacket to begin. Into the afternoon, I think it's a lot of sunshine, although this shows a little too many clouds, I believe. Temperatures in the 50s for our Turkey Day 2022. Now into Friday morning early for any shopping, doorbuster sales. Just some clouds, but rain does arrive with that first portion of our weather maker all the way through about 9 a.m. through about noontime. So you may have to take into account a little extra time for heading to the mall there. 31 degrees, clear skies for tonight. Tomorrow we're at 58 as it goes continued sunny. And if you're going to do a little jog, a walk, maybe a stroll before or after the turkey tomorrow, great looking day with a high 55 to 60, 54. Some morning showers on Friday. Shouldn't ruin the day, though. I think the afternoon's better. 57, gorgeous day on Saturday. More rain possible on Sunday. And then gradual drying into early next week with highs in the 50s. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Jonathan, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Thank you. The 2022 FIFA World Cup continues tomorrow with a pair of great games on Fox 45. Portugal plays Ghana at 11 a.m. Then Brazil and Serbia round out the day at 2 p.m. And don't forget, the U.S. plays its second match this Friday against England. The Americans are looking for a strong result after a draw against Wales on Monday. You can watch all the action starting at 2 p.m. right here on Fox 45. A frantic scene unfolds in an Ohio parking lot. A worker describes the chaos as she's chased potential dine and dashers out the door, only to end up on the hood of a car. And here's a look at today's top trending stories. Number one, an heroic effort from a boy in Salisbury may have saved his sister's life. Police say the 11-year-old boy rescued his sister from the second floor of this burning building. Miraculously, neither needed medical treatment. The fire marshal's office believes that blaze was started by a faulty electrical outlet. Number two, stunning video as an Ohio server risked her own life to stop customers accused of dining, then dashing. Look at this surveillance video. Police captured this video and say the employee was on the hood of the car as it sped out of the parking lot. She tried to stop the customers from leaving, but they nearly ran her over. The car then gets onto a main highway, and police say it was going at least 60 miles an hour.
They're yelling at me. They're saying I have a gun in the vehicle. They had a sunroof that they were able to open, and they were throwing things out of the sunroof at me. It was just absolutely one of the most terrifying moments of my life.
Well, the server was finally able to get off that car once it turned onto a side street. No one was seriously hurt. The suspects are all in their teens, according to police, and the 16-year-old driver faces a felony charge. After missing the last 5 games with the dislocated wrist, Marcus Williams makes his return to the field. How the Ravens safety looked in his first day back. And finally tonight, who says Thanksgiving is just for people? Check this out. Check out these little guys, a group of lemurs getting in on the Thanksgiving spread at Brookfield Zoo near Chicago. They look pretty cute. It's a Thanksgiving tradition now in its 9th year. You can see the makeshift dining room set up inside their enclosure. In fact, save some of that pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie. That's my specialty that I bake for the rest of us. You know about that, Rocco, right? All right, that's all for us on the late edition. I'm Kai Jackson. I want to say happy Thanksgiving to all of Baltimore, Maryland, and to all of our staff here at Fox 45. We love you guys. Rocco, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you, Kai. Appreciate you. Calais Campbell, he had some of his best seasons in Jacksonville, and it was only fitting that during his time as a Jag, he earned the title Mayor of Saxonville. The guy did set a franchise record for most sacks in a single season. This Sunday, the big man makes his return to TIAA Bank Field for the very first time since that trade to Baltimore, and he hopes to lead the Ravens to their 5th straight win in the process.
It's a little sentimental, I guess, but really, it's just another football game. I mean, it's cool because, I did spend, 3 years there. It seems like it's a lot longer than it really was, though. It's just, 3 fruitful years. But I had a lot of fun there. Had some success on the football field. But, you know, at the same time, though, you know, my mindset is like stay in the moment. You know, you can't really like, you know, you don't really dwell on the past and you really can't look too far forward in the future. You know, it's kind of stay in the moment. So for me, it's just another opportunity to get a big win.
Here's a look at the Ravens injury report. Lamar Jackson, one of 8 Ravens that did not practice today. Jalen Armour-Davis, Kyle Hamilton, Ronnie Stanley, and Kevin Zeitler all absent as well. Rest days for Justin Houston, Marcus Peters, Calais Campbell. Gus Edwards, he was limited with that knee and hamstring injury. While Lamar was not on the field today, Marcus Williams was. The Ravens safety was designated for return from injured reserve and practiced with the team for the very first time since dislocating his wrist. Williams won't play this Sunday. However, he'll be easing his way back one step at a time.
He looked good as an individual. He looked good. He moved well. It's his wrist. You know, I think we just got to get him back moving, get him back in shape, and he's got a week or two of all that before he'll be ready to go. But the main thing, you know, the wrist will heal. We just need to make sure he's in football shape.
So tomorrow is a day to give thanks, spend time with your loved ones, enjoy some amazing food, and of course some football. John Harbaugh says it's his favorite holiday of them all. Here's why.
It's great, right? First of all, it's for the right reason, you know, to be grateful, to give thanks for what we've been blessed with, right? That's how we look at it. And then you don't really have any obligations. I mean, you'd have to clean, you know, guys out there, you know, if you're not cooking, wash the dishes. It's the least you can do before you go sit on the couch and watch the game, right? Wash the dishes. That's all we got to do is wash the dishes, probably. Now, if you're cooking the meal, you may be washing the dishes too. That's all right. But other than that, you don't have to buy any gifts. You don't have to write any cards. It's the greatest holiday.
Listen, I can't argue with that, Coach. The Towson men's basketball team has roared into the 2022-23 campaign. Off to a 5-0 start for the very first time in their Division I history. And this team is showing zero signs of slowing down. Up next, a Friday meeting with Fairfield. Will they look to keep the ball rolling?
Honestly, we're just out there hooping, having fun, playing to the best of our capabilities, and we just know what we can accomplish. Like, this isn't really a surprise to us. We knew what the schedule was going to be. We asked for a tough away schedule, and then here we are.
That's it for this edition of Sports Unlimited. I'm Rocco DeSangro. Thanks for watching, and have a very happy Thanksgiving.